Over the last 24 hours or so, of course, the main area of interest has been around the containment dome. Yesterday evening, we lowered that to the seafloor and began to place it over the source of the leak. I think, as we've stressed numerous times, this particular operation has never been done before at this depth. And we also shared that the big technical challenge was with hydrate formation. A hydrate is actually when gas combines with water under certain pressure and temperatures, it forms a crystal very similar to ice. What happened is we were placing the dome over the leak source. A large volume of hydrates formed inside the top of the dome, requiring us to move the dome to the side of the leak point. The dome is currently sitting on the seabed while we evaluate options to deal with the hydrate issue. We believe that it'll probably take the next 2 days to look for opportunities to try to overcome this challenge. In addition, we continue to progress other techniques to control the source of flow and ultimately stop the source of flow. These include activities to try to create a stoppage or plug up the existing blowout preventer to stop flow, or put a second blowout preventer or similar type valve on top of the existing equipment to stop the flow. Additional data will need to be gathered to see if these options are viable, and that work will also continue over the next 48 hours. Our relief well drilling continues. The relief well is now at approximately 9,000 feet and making progress actually ahead of plan. Onshore, I think the Admiral's already covered many of the details, but we deployed over 130,000 feet of boom yesterday. We're approaching 1 million feet deployed. We have over 2.3 million additional feet, either coming from existing stocks in the United States, Brazil, Spain, China, the United Kingdom, and other countries, and across the United States, plus approximately 1 million feet coming from new manufacture. We are currently expecting to see about 25,000 feet of boom material being produced every day for this activity. As the Admiral's already covered, we have oil around Chandelier Island, and our shoreline cleanup assessment teams are responding to that. In addition, I think she's also covered that in certain areas what was originally reported as oil has been confirmed to be algae. Offshore, we did complete 5 successful burns yesterday. We actually skimmed over 17,500 barrels of an oily water mix, and we continued with our dispersant flights. And I would just end by saying our priorities remain the same. We're focused on stopping the flow. We're focused on minimizing the impacts, both environmental and economic, and about keeping the public informed of our activities. Thank you.
At this point, we'll go ahead and open up for questions. If you would just wait to be called upon, we'll let Andy give you the microphone.
Ray Henry, Associated Press. Mr. Suttles, can you explain to us a little bit about the hydrate situation, what they are, what exactly happened last night, and what the status of the dome is now as you're thinking through this? Where do you go from here?
Yeah, so what we did last night was we lowered the dome. The dome had to be lowered quite carefully over the seabed. We actually were successful in placing it over the top of the leak site. But these gas hydrates are actually like crystals, like ice crystals. But of course they're lighter than water. What they did is formed on the inside of the dome, which tried to make the dome buoyant. And it also plugged up the top of the dome where the oil would come out of. So what we had to do was pick the dome back up, set it over to the side while we evaluate what options we have to actually try to prevent the hydrate formation or find some other method to try to capture the flow.
Hi, Campbell Robertson, New York Times. So there's been discussions of creating a new blowout preventer on top of the existing one. But the other technique you said was under consideration of plugging, I guess they call it a top kill or something, where you try to just plug the, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, the other option we've been, in fact I should back up, since the beginning we've always had this strategy about we needed to find and progress multiple options because we didn't know which one would be successful. And it's all to do with we're working in 5,000 feet of water in a very difficult and challenging environment. So we've always progressed multiple options. One of those people refer to in the industry as what's called a junk shot. All that means is we take ground up material of various types and try to inject it into the blowout preventer at the bottom of it, and it'll flow up and plug it up. Some people have described it like stopping up a toilet. It's just that simple a concept. It has certain issues and challenges and risks with it, and that's why we haven't actually progressed that to this point, but we continue to look and see if that's going to be a viable option.
Erwin Sebo, Reuters. Does this mean the containment dome has failed, or do you have are there options to make it work the way you planned for it to work?
Well, I wouldn't say it's failed yet. What I would say is what we attempted to do last night didn't work because these hydrates plugged up the top of the dome. What we're currently doing, and expect it'll probably take the next 48 hours or so, is seeing is there a way to overcome this problem. We did anticipate hydrates being a problem, but not this significant. There are numerous ways to manage hydrates. One is, can you provide heat down at this level so that they don't form, or you can actually apply methanol is another way to manage hydrates. So our teams, and as Lars has already mentioned, working with MMS and across the industry, are looking to see is there a way to overcome this problem.